Intro. It's intro time. Shush. Everyone shut up. All right, we are going to cover our last story of the day, and honestly, looking forward to talking about it. Slim, do we have you for a while longer yet, or do you have to...
Yeah, I could stick around for a bit longer. Not that I'll be any help for this part. Well, I never watched the movie with you guys, but...
No worries. Ask questions. Keep everything coming. So we will come at it...
Heard good things about it, so...
Yeah, well, let's start with the good things. Let's start with the good things. So, Rotten Tomatoes, we are going to be talking about Marvel's Thunderbolts, and this is where I was going to... Asterisk. This is where I was confused at the very beginning of the podcast. I don't know how to discuss this movie because the entire ecosystem of Marvel around it is so painful and toxic that this is kind of like this one ray of light that you don't want to get hyped about, you don't want to get excited about, you don't want to take away the wrong things from the conversations about it. But as a movie, as a singular standout film, there is a lot to be enjoyed with it. And I'll just start by pointing to the Rotten Tomato score. So the Rotten Tomato Critics score has it at an 88%. The popcorn meter with the audience scores, again, these could be inflated. The movie's only been out for a couple of days, so it's not... We will see this number correct to the more realistic numbers.
Monday would be more realistic.
Right.
Yes, correct.
But 95% is still, I mean, that's either the bots hard at work or this movie is not getting a lot of pushback on that number. So, I mean, because it averages. So we would see.
Yeah, that's spectacular.
Scores. Yeah.
And over 2,500 ratings isn't like, it's not a lot, but that's not nothing.
Right. And so just for a good, healthy comparison, Cody reminded me that Metacritic existed, so we were going to pull that up too. Here's probably something a little bit more likely, or let me just refresh that. Here's something a little bit more likely for Thunderbolts at a 68% or 7.1.
7.1.
That's kind of... closer. I think this is probably a little bit lower than I would have put it at, but I think that this is probably, it's not a 100% movie, but I think normies would probably say this is the best thing they've ever seen or the worst thing they've ever seen.
I mean, without going into like a full review, that 7.1 is about where I would place it.
Okay. And IMDb, just for total, all the numbers out there, getting everything on the plate, 7.8% is what we're getting from Thunderbolts on IMDb as well.
7.8%?
So roughly an 8 if you kind of, around an 8 if you add everything kind of together.
Yes.
I have heard pretty decent things about it. So
we're not going to do a full review on this movie, but we have to talk about it in the context of, like, where is Marvel at? What is the direction Marvel is going? Is this a standalone... Is this the last time we're going to see something this good? Is this the first time in the next generation of films that we're going to see something this good and we have more to come?
So, like, when it comes to Thunderbolts discussion, I wouldn't say I had zero expectations going into this. I had negative expectations going into this.
Me too.
It's like, it's going to be shit.
that probably helped you guys.
Yeah, there technically is homework that you have to do before watching this. You have to know certain things.
Yep.
Like, Ant-Man and the Wasp, probably should watch that to know one character. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's another one to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America 4.
Brave New Hope.
And
Brave New Hope for Change.
Or not, Black Widow.
Yep.
The Black Widow movie, too. This movie kind of just goes into it and they don't really explain why these characters are. But
right.
Are you going to be completely lost though if you don't see those? Like, oh, because I haven't seen any of that. So if I just walked in there, because I've seen basically everything up to Endgame, and I haven't seen a single thing since. Well, could I walk in there?
Let me take
and watch this.
Let me take this part, Cody, because so you have the who's the Red Russian guy? What's his name? The character. It's fine if you don't know.
Well, it's the Red Guardian.
The Red Guardian.
I don't
thank
know
you.
His actual name.
The Red Guardian, and then the main character, the kind of the Black Widow that you have in the movie, Yelena. Those two characters if you don't know who they are, you're gonna struggle a little bit throughout the film. You'll still be able to enjoy it. There will still be things to like, but they come from the Black Widow film. So, or the Scarlett Johansson Black Widow. So that's what you're getting.
I remember seeing them in previews for that movie. So, but like, I know they're part of that universe and they're part of her story, but I didn't see the movie kind of thing.
They make mentions of Yelena losing her sister, but they don't specifically say that it was Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow.
Exactly. Yep. And then you have.
So I would get that. So.
And then Bucky the Vampire Slayer. I mean the Winter Soldier. He is. This is the very start of the film, so it's not a spoiler, but you find out immediately he's actually a congressman, a junior congressman for his district in New York. So if you didn't pay attention or know anything about if you didn't watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier, you're not gonna know why he's why the Winter Soldier is now in government.
Right.
So that's
yeah.
Again, you could get through all of these things and still enjoy the film, but you are going to struggle. It is going to stick in your brain.
There's going to be hurdles. Yeah.
There are, and there's other characters. A lot of these characters came from this phase of Marvel. So if you don't know who they are, you're going to struggle with understanding their interactions because these guys are all famous to each other. So they all know things about each other. But if you watch it and they're making references to things, they're making comments in the dialogue, if you don't understand it, you're gonna fall behind.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to enjoy about the film itself. And
yeah, like I said when we were first starting this, is that negative expectations going into this, pleasantly surprised and actually kind of quite enjoyed the movie.
I did too. Let's start there.
Yeah. We don't have to do a full review or anything. We should almost do like a separate video.
We should, I think. But what would you give the movie? Like, not a review,
I'll give it like a 7.5. Like, it's not a perfect movie. There's you got exposition dumps. People just randomly drop into their backstories and whatnot. There's a few cringe moments. So it was just like turning these people into heroes.
Yeah.
A little cringy. But overall, I enjoyed the movie quite a bit.
I did too. Okay, so I'll say a 7.5, and the reason I hesitate to give it higher, I think the movie could deserve higher. I really do. The reason I'm hesitant to is because I don't know that will age well when the next movie comes out and completely obliterates all the characters from what we have here. Slim, just for your benefit, let me just kind of break down what we're liking about this film. It's probably got some of the better fight scenes and choreography out of most of the newer Marvel films that we've had.
4 and 5, yeah.
Yep. The dialogue and the writing is not great at a lot of points, but
characterization's good though.
The characters are awesome. Every character stands out in this movie as someone who is just really enjoyable to see on screen. I would say except the main antagonist, the lady who's like the head of the CIA. Madam Hydra. I did not.
Julia Dreyfus's character.
Yeah, so
she's the worst part about the movie.
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
She talks to everyone like she's talking to a kindergarten class. It's very slow and enunciated.
Well, and they dyed her hair to look exactly like Tulsi Gabbard. I thought they were making a dig at Tulsi Gabbard.
I didn't get that.
I thought they were making a dig at her in the film. I was wrong. But that's what it's. The first time you see her, I'm like, oh, they're making fun of Tulsi Gabbard now. Great, cool. Not a huge problem, but it's stupid. She is the worst character. Besides her, I can't think of a single other character on the screen who showed up that I didn't genuinely enjoy time with and want more from. The Walker, who's the
John
Walker, who's the new who was the new Captain America for a brief stint of time before it went to Sam, and who was
legally went to Sam.
Yeah, who was the Falcon. His character is actually really enjoyable, has a lot of screen charisma and a lot of screen presence.
That's because he's Kurt Russell's son.
This is the best I've seen from Bucky. Winter Soldier has been a character I have not liked at all.
Really?
Not generally speaking. He's for the most part.
He's always like a background character.
He's always a background character, but he's always so depressed and morbid. Everything's sad, and I'm kind of stoic, but also serious because I'm brainwashed. I'm annoyed by it. I'm annoyed by that. This was actually something where he's back to being a character. He actually has a lot of his good personality traits on screen the whole time. So his character is recovered or recovering from all of that. And it does plague him a bit with it, but it's awesome to see him in this performance because he's a great actor. Very talented. They let him loose in this film.
Yeah, I think the two best were Yelena and Bob.
Yeah.
Bob is brand new, and Yelena comes out of Black Widow, which I didn't see, but her just terrible.
I'm gonna see if I can find a decent photo of
Florence Pugh as Yelena. I think does a good job. It's her movie, basically.
Yes, and
does a good job. And Bob is a good insert into it. Bob turns into, or Bob is. It's not really a spoiler or anything.
No.
He's Sentry, and there's some. No one knows who Sentry is, but.
He's not I don't think he's a front runner character in the Marvel universe. He has his own story. He has his own like stuff to be told. But
Bob / Sentry, I think, was a really good character, and the other side of him too was insane.
Yes,
I'm not going to go into any spoilers or anything, but
no. Let me see if I can find. Okay, so this is Bob.
He's Bob.
Guys, this is Bob. Bob was just sitting there in a casket in an underground dungeon.
I hope we see more of him.
I do too. Okay. So So we talked about the choreography in the film, and the fight scenes are really well done for a Marvel project. Normally they are,
especially coming off of Captain 4.
Yeah,
it's so much better. It looks better. Fights choreography is so much better.
The cinematography is good.
And they're
colors.
When it comes to like Marvel quips and whatnot, it's not that jokey, but there are like
a lot of funny moments.
There are funny moments and whatnot, but it's not
good ones. Yeah,
it's not like overblown like more other movies.
Well, the thing about the comedy in this is that it's very organic. Like the chemistry between the actors makes all the comedy really stand out as these very organic moments. The problem is that it's typical Marvel. You have a really deep conversation or a serious moment, and then they deflate the balloon with their own dialogue. So even if the moments are organically funny and good, they are really poorly timed where they're taking away from any of the seriousness of the film, which is this movie's strongest asset, is that it takes on serious themes and it does such a good job with them.
Yeah, they do a good job, but it's still very surface level. Like they don't really go that deep with it, but it's Marvel taking a plunge into like themes instead of messaging.
Right, that's what we've been asking for, is for a movie to have a theme rather than a message.
Yeah, the theme is like depression and loneliness.
Yeah, and you see all these characters who were like the bad guys, the underdogs, who are now super isolated, and they're all dealing with that, and then they kind of come together and they see the value in teamwork and collaboration and being the heroes.
There's a list of criticisms on this movie that I should make a list, and then we'll talk about
the review on it.
Review.
Yeah,
to where it's like, yeah, I disagree. I saw it in a different light than other people see it.
But I would say that the themes that they played with the depression, with this isolation and loneliness, I think were really good, and I think we got this happening twice in a phase where, like, only twice in a phase, which is the problem. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3 also dealt with some pretty deep emotional themes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why people really liked Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
You asked me last night, which do I like more, Guardians 3 or this one?
Yeah.
I have been thinking about this movie for like 12 hours or more now. I think I like Thunderbolts more.
This isn't controversial for me. I do too. I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I think I even made the case for it to be, this is a while ago, so I'm just trying to remember. I think I made the case for it being 3-1-2.
1-3-2 is the correct response, but whatever.
But I mean, yeah, 1 or 3 is the flip-flopping. But basically 3 is good. 3 was a good movie. I do think this is better. I think the character chemistry is fantastic. I think the way they approach the themes is really good. Mm-hmm. There are some moments in this movie, Slim, that actually took me out of my seat. I thought were so cool. Like, no spoilers on this. It's not a review. It's, but when you start to see Bob really pop off, there's some epic moments. I mean, it's in Act 3 when it starts to really pick up.
Talking about Bob's alter ego.
Ego, Void. Yep.
Yeah. Then it gets insane.
It gets insane, dude.
The only problem is the main. That's a spoiler. Never mind. I was gonna say.
Why? Careful.
Hold on. You can do it. But here's what's cool about this.
About consequences in the movie, though.
Right.
That's probably my biggest issue.
Yeah, I could see that. And I don't think that's a bad thing, though, actually. Like, if the movie's going to tackle that topic of consequences, I think that's fine.
If they actually continue this fucking story instead of switching and, like,
Pivoting.
the next movie has something to do with this, and then they barely sprinkle in little bits from
Right.
the movie.
So this article's a bit older, but it came out before the release, or the movie release. So Thunderbolts now on track to perform worse than Captain America: Brave New World in latest box office projection. I think this movie
wrote April 15th.
April 15th, yeah, 3 weeks ago. At the time of this recording. So yeah, I think that I think myself included, I really expected this movie to underperform. Now we've got, I mean, just earlier today we had this article come up. Thunderbolts United Kingdom box office sees a hike of 38.5% on second day, despite earning below Captain America: Brave New World's opening day. So there was
this one's gonna have legs in word of mouth, especially with the normies. I think
with the normies,
a lot better.
I think this movie is good enough that normies might even see it twice. You and I probably won't.
I want to see it again.
You would?
I would.
I would probably.
I saw Guardians 3 again, and I was like, it's not as good as I remember the first time watching it. So that's why it's.
I would go see it in theaters again if someone wanted to go see it again, but or wanted to go see it. But otherwise, I'm not gonna push for it. Right. But I would definitely go again. Definitely an enjoyable film, and I really do think this movie, the fact that this movie is just objectively better than Captain America: Brave New World, gives me hope. You have Bucky, you have characters in this movie that some people will remember, but it's also a really good, healthy step out of the norm for Marvel.
Yeah, that's why Marvel, like internally at Marvel, they didn't really have much hope for Captain America, but they all thought that Thunderbolts would be a lot better. I think yeah, I can definitely fucking see that.
I think if Marvel
Force sucked, if this one was pretty good.
If Marvel turns up the marketing for Thunderbolts, I think it can. I think they would need to get word of mouth. I think they need to get some messaging out there and spread the word that this is actually something we've done differently.
You know they're gonna like pull it in 2 weeks and just put it on the streaming service though, because everyone's all about the streaming service.
Well, and honestly, they would need. I'm sure to their own end, they're like, we want this movie to be bad because we don't want people to get used to not having sludge crammed down their throats. So, all in all, just to summarize our experience with it, really good standout performance from Marvel on this one. If this is more of what we get, I'd actually be excited for future phases of Marvel. But that's also the problem.
Right.
It's like, how can we possibly tell anybody, get excited? This is what it's going to be like from now on.
The next one's Fantastic Four, and there's already leaks coming out that it's Sue Storm's movie, and it's all about gender roles.
Yeah.
And it takes place in like a 60s movie.
So. Yeah. So, and honestly, I'm not excited. I'm not nearly as excited for Fantastic Four, or even as open-minded about it being good as I was before these extra trailers started to release. Before the trailer started to come out, I was kind of like, okay, a new direction. Not the cast I would have chosen, not superheroes I necessarily care a lot about. Female Silver Surfer, the Herald of Galactus, I fucking hate her hate that that's a thing.
I'm gonna put this on the internet because I'm sick of hearing it. It's like, oh, it was in the comic books. It's like, that doesn't make it good. There was that timely fucking excuse to where it's like when Marvel goes off and does something dumb, people would be like, well, it was in the comic books. It's like, yeah, so well, no one bought those comic books either. Well, and it was a bad idea from the get-go.
Well, and okay, if you're watching this after and you guys are in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, but here's what there is no female Silver Surfer. There are female Heralds of Galactus.
She's the wife of Norrin Rad, which is the original. Surfer.
No,
she was in like 12 comic books or something.
Okay, well, then don't go in the comments, guys.
I'll correct you.
Instead, IRL. let's not get traction and people calling Tox an idiot in the comments, but instead, all right. But I think that's all we really have to say on this, unless we're gonna do a full review later. So
yeah, Slim, I definitely recommend seeing this one.
Yeah, it is good. It honestly, I'm recommending.
I'm sure it'll come out on Disney. So.
Oh, I mean, but we want this movie to do well in theaters. Like we wanted to make the monies so that Marvel will have one more. I mean, I suppose we could this is the thing. It's like, I want more of this. I do want more of this. But the problem is that if we encourage and get people to spend their money at the theaters, Marvel's going to take the wrong thing away and they're just going to make more sludge.
I honestly don't give a fuck if it does well or not. I got a good movie out of it. It's fine. It's not going to change anything if it does well.
You don't think? I mean,
no, I don't think it'll change anything.
I would like to know the budget and the numbers. I guess we'll see.
Report is 200 mil, but that's the
I
tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits. Don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life.